Thinking about a new trolling motor for your boat? Man, I would highly recommend this Minn Kota Terrova. It has so many great features. The spot lock on it is awesome. Anchors you right in spot. The others that it has cruise control and autopilot. Man, you just can't beat them. So I'm going to show you how I installed it on my bow rider. We got this bow rider. It's a BR180 Sea Ray, and it was mainly a family play boat. The grandkids really wanted to get out and be able to play on the water with it, go tubing and whatever. So it works out great for that. But I also wanted it as a fishing boat. So I installed this Minn Kota to help to be able to get out there, control my speed, and for all those features I just mentioned. Works great. So I'll show you the install here. The mounting plate that it comes with, at least the extra that I had purchased, is one of the puck types. So this thing bolts onto the front step of the boat. And I had to drill an extra hole back about an inch from the front. As you can see, the puck on this corner sticks out. It protrudes over the front of the boat, and so there wasn't enough room to get that bolt in. There's a little pocket in the Sea Ray right here, a little opening in this anchor cubby that actually went up underneath, but I couldn't get all the way up to this front bolt, these two front bolts with my arm. I just couldn't reach it. There wasn't enough room because you can only get up to your elbow there. So I could reach the back two, but not the front two. So I ended up having to cut this hole, which was my plan in the first place. So I have an aluminum plate here that I've already cut and drilled and have it ready to go. So it's going to fit right over that opening. I'll put some sealant on the back side of it. Same thing under the puck. Ran some sealant around once I drilled my holes. Under these two, on the underside of this step, I have an aluminum plate as well that I drilled to match that so I could hold it up in place. And then I was able to support the back of that. The front of these are right on this corner. It has some extra fiberglass. So my plan is that that's going to be solid enough on the front corner. It seems that we'll be able to hold that in place with those. So, show you what I did here with the electric. I ended up getting some of this 8-2 or 2-8 cable, 8-AUG, and that's what was recommended for the boat. So I ran that through this front cut. I ran a snake up. It ran all the way through the side of the boat here past the bow section and all the way underneath the cockpit. And then it'll run down to my battery connection. I decided to run the batteries here right behind the driver's seat, so when it's all done, the batteries are going to be slid forward. I mounted them on this on a board, covered it with some indoor-outdoor carpeting, and I'll be able then to pull this in and out because we use the boat a lot for playing. So here's the cables cut. I've already put the ends on. Once I crimped the ends, then I filled them with solder as well. So we'll be mounting my red wire, the hot wire, to one of the posts of the circuit breaker. Had to get a 60 amp circuit breaker for that. Then I have another jumper cable that will come off of the hot post of the battery, connect to the circuit breaker there. I've got a jumper to run between the two batteries, positive on one. So in order to do the electric, I bought a quick disconnect plug, and this is a Minn Kota plug. I decided to go with a little more expensive. I figured it's going to have the correct wire gauge on it. It's going to it's all hidden in the boat. So once I set the motor on top of that puck, you've probably already seen this before. I can take the mounting handle. It simply slides into place like so, and then I have a clip that's going to clip onto the post that you mount it through the side of the puck there. And so there we have that whole assembly, and that does really seem like a solid rig once you get it all on there, especially with the sealant under that puck. So I put this back on because on this side of the motor I have already trimmed the wires off. This was much longer. On the Minn Kota it came with an extension that was, I would guess about 2.5 feet long. And so I cut it off, and the Minn Kota plug came with all of the adapters, all of the connectors that you'll need to do this front job. But this way I'll be able to plug this right in to the adapter over here. And the plug is directional, so I'm going to set it up so it plugs into the side this way, keeps the wires all nice and snug against the boat there. And then we want to be able to disconnect all this stuff, take the motor off, because, well, when the grandkids come, they say it's all about playing and tubing and not necessarily fishing. You know, Papa feels like fishing is important as well. So, hey, good compromise. It's going to be a do-everything boat for us. It's been doing great for us so far. Looking forward to finishing this job and getting it down in the water and giving it a test. So, next step, connect the wires and put the Minn Kota plug in place. See how that little bit of heat on them. And we'll see if we can get them to shrink up here. I made the connection. My plug is down there. The connection is made. Little slick little adapters or connectors that they give you. They even tell you how much offset to run on those. So we'll put voila, heat shrink over it. We'll grab my gun. So after it's all, the shrink wrap is heated up and made tight, the plug actually comes with a Minn Kota. See if we can get it to shrink up here. Going up to the motor. The line going into the boat, I decided to wrap with electrical tape as well. It's going to be doing a lot of bouncing up here in the bow. I know that as I go out on Lake Erie and as we're out tubing and playing. So we'll give it as much protection as we can. Ready to put it. And voila. Let the gun cool down, it'll shut off. So you're told to mount the compass sensor somewhere on a flat surface in the boat. You have to know where you aren't going to drill down through the bottom of the boat. But I chose to mount mine right underneath, right under the dashboard here. So you can see that it's up out of the way, should never get kicked. We'll see, it's supposed to be in straight line with the motor, so I'm thinking that it'll broadcast through fiberglass. If not, I'll have to move it up front somewhere, but I'm thinking that it's going to be fine there. The finished product. And that gives you plenty of wires, so I'm going to place, sealed in, strap that wire up in place, and find a nice place to tuck it. And then, of course, I ran it back here so it can attach to one of the 12-volt batteries. That should be a nice little addition there. Have to watch the grandkids so they don't get hurt on that. Nobody sits in the front center anymore, I guess. We'll see how it works. Okay, all plugged in, ready to give it a test. Power button on. Test the batteries. Yep, says they're all full up, which I did charge them. And so now we'll give the motor a test here. Here's my controller. Press and hold. Everybody's safe. Okay. Here's the directional. So this will be right and left. Yeah, all works. Get the proper weight. I finished tying up the wires underneath the gun rail. Tucked up nice and tight up inside of the side of the boat. Come down, and so the batteries are all now hooked up. I'll give the motor a little test and see how that works. You can see how I was able to tie that right up to the bundle of wires. Take it out to the lake and give it a try. Tie it up nice and tight. And as always, I pray that as you go out and you're fishing on that water and you're looking for those fish, that you will be blessed. Being out there in nature, God has given us a lot of great opportunities here in our country to explore and to enjoy these outdoors. He's just blessed us beyond measure. So I pray that your day today will be blessed. Well, there she is in action, quiet as could be. I just love the autopilot feature. So I'm using the remote control, sets up autopilot, and just takes you right where you want it to go. You can set the course. That thing has run smooth. Spot lock. Oh yeah.